The topic I've chosen to research is Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. Imagine, you are forced to quit school, taken to a ghetto where there is little food, and shoved into a cattle car. Then you are brought to an unfamiliar place, separated from your family, starved, tortured, worked, and most likely killed just because of your religion and race. This happened to millions of people during the Holocaust. And this is a picture of the entrance gate at Auschwitz-Birkenau, and it states, "Work will make you free." Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp can be analyzed by looking at its history, overall death toll, torture methods, and extermination process. This is Auschwitz entrance. The first way that Auschwitz II can be analyzed is by looking at its history, and this is a helicopter view of the camp. In 1941, Heinrich Himmler, a military leader and leading member of the SS, ordered for a second part of the camp to be built. This part would later be known as Auschwitz-Birkenau and would be located about 2 miles away from the original camp. Auschwitz-Birkenau was also called Auschwitz II and would contain separate, smaller camps for different groups of people and would hold facilities for a killing center. As you can see, this is the women's camp, and this is the incineration area and mass graves, gas chambers, and such. Originally, Auschwitz was planned to only hold a capacity of about 100,000. Later on, though, the revised plan included a double capacity plan of about 205,000 prisoners, which means that the barracks were packed full. As you can see, there are a lot of people per bed. Another way that Auschwitz can be analyzed is by looking at its overall death toll, and actually these are empty cans of Zyklon B gas tablets. Who was killed in the Holocaust? Although Jews were the biggest target in the Holocaust, many other races and types of people were murdered. These included Poles, homosexuals, or anybody else that Hitler thought was wrong. This is a chart showing what groups of people made up the deaths of the Holocaust. Polish Jews made about 24%, politicals 10, Soviet prisoners of war 20, Soviet Jews 8, and so on. How many people died? About 11 million people died total in the Holocaust, a majority of them Jews. In the article Auschwitz II Birkenau, the author states, 90% of the prisoners that died at Auschwitz died in Birkenau, more than 90% of these Jews. Approximately 20,000 Gypsies perished in Birkenau, as well as a large majority of the 70,000 Poles. The third way that Auschwitz-Birkenau can be analyzed is through its torture methods. How were prisoners tortured? In the article Auschwitz II Birkenau, the author states, prisoners who committed more serious behavior violations were subjected to hanging with their hands behind their backs for hours, even days. This dislocated their shoulder joints and ended in them not being able to work, which sent them to the gas chambers. This is a picture, but this is the less severe case. Normally they'd be off the ground. Another way of torture was the Block 11 dark cells. They were 3 by 3 feet, non-lit cells which packed 5 men per cell. Here prisoners were starved and deprived of oxygen until some suffocated. But most of the time they just suffered for days. The last way that Auschwitz II concentration camp can be discussed is through its extermination process. This is the Zyklon B gas tablet can, and that's the Zyklon B gas tablets. How were prisoners killed? The main way that most of the prisoners were murdered was by the gas chambers with Zyklon B. Some prisoners suffocated in the Block 11 dark cells, or others died from intense labor or medical experiments. In this video, Lily Springer will talk about her arrival at Auschwitz II. The current prisoners gave the new prisoners hints such as, don't say you have a twin, give babies to grandmother, stand up tall, look healthy. She says, they said all these things, but only afterwards did it make sense. At the time, it didn't make sense.
Absolutely nothing. It meant nothing to us. And some people who looked like from an insane asylum got onto the cars, out, 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 and started pushing, take everything, leave everything here, you'll get it back, out, out, out. We found out afterwards they were Jewish prisoners, but they looked like people from an insane asylum with striped pajamas. And we didn't know about what was happening, and they gave us all kinds of hints which we didn't understand. We didn't know. It says, don't say that you have a twin. Don't say. And give the children to give babies to the grandmother, and don't carry a baby, because there's women, 22, 23, carrying a baby, and they knew that carrying a baby will mean straight to the guest chambers. So and look healthy, and walk erect. So we asked them, why quiet, go, and so on. So we didn't really know what was happening. They told us all these things, but only afterwards did it make sense. At that time, it didn't make sense. We thought these sort of people are crazy anyway. So how can you listen to them?
Why would they say, don't say you have a twin, you ask? Twins were immediately sent to the hospital for medical experiments. If one died, the other was killed by lethal injection so that the doctor could perform autopsies. Most deaths of twins were not accidents. The staff at Auschwitz was assisted by several privileged prisoners who were given better food, conditions, and an opportunity to survive if they agreed to enforce the brutal order of the camp. Of course, these were the extremely lucky ones, seeing that 90% of the people that died in Auschwitz died in Birkenau. The Holocaust is one of the most famous historical events, and for a good reason. Over 11 million people perished, but will be forever remembered.